So John Finn's name comes up in a lot of my videos, and old John was he was a good old guy. He was Irish, so every now and then the Irish would flare up in him, and I always laughed and told him that the Irish would have taken over the earth if it hadn't been for alcohol. Well, John was not a drinker when I met him at that point in time, and he hadn't been a drinker for about 30 years, I think. But we met by accident on one of Ernie's forums, and there was a FC for sale in Texas, and it was, my dog's got something here. It was for sale on eBay. It was a fixer-upper kind of coach, but it had been owned and used and abused by Budweiser Distributing. And it had Budweiser painted all down the side about 6 places, and it was red and white and Budweiser colors, and had a eagle painted on the side, both sides, and maybe on the back, I don't remember. But so I was gonna buy that thing. I was watching it. It was going for cheap money, and it was a fixer-upper, but I was buying and flipping coaches, fixing them up and stuff back in those days quite a bit. And John called me one day. He said, "Are you bidding on that coach?" I said, "No, I have not bidden on it yet, but I'm gonna bid on it. I'm gonna buy it." And he said, "No, I'd like to buy it." And John had a converted school bus at the time, and he was living in that, and he traveled a lot. He did heavy haul escorts, big, huge boats, and all kinds of stuff that semis pull. You see those little cars behind them with the flags and all that, and that's what John did for a long, long time, and he was really good at it. So John wants to buy this FC, and I said, "Okay, if you want it, I won't bid on it." And I've done that a lot through the years. Somebody would call me and they'd want to buy a fixer-upper somewhere, and I'd say, "Well, I was going to buy this, but here you go, you can have it." It's not all that important to me. I just hate to see him not fixed and running on the road. So John buys this old Budweiser coach, and what the ironic part of that was that John, and he would tell you this if he was alive today, he's passed away. John was a recovering alcoholic, and he had about 30 years or 35 years in. He had the little thing in his pocket, and he went to meetings all over the place, and he counseled a lot of guys, family members of mine and WOG members through the years on alcohol abuse and stuff. I mean, we all know somebody that has that issue, and John saved a few marriages through the years, which is pretty cool for a guy that wasn't married. And so anyway, John was fixing up this, he's a recovering alcoholic, and he's got the Budweiser bus, which had keg coolers and wine coolers and wine racks, and just everything. It was all set up about hospitality and having a drink or two. And we were all worried about John buying that, and including his family. So John, you're buying the Budweiser bus, and you're clean at this point in time. Are you going to be okay? And he threw all that stuff out. He took the keg cooler out, all the wine racks. I think I still have the wine racks in my junk here. And so John cleaned the old bus up, and I had a dinette. The dinette had been removed from that bus, and I gave John the dinette. And let me think, I did all kinds of work through the years on that old bus, and John had it going pretty good and pretty dependable. He went all over the country in that bus for a long time, pulling a heavy trailer, John and his dog and his cat, and they just had a great old time. But that's how I met John Finn. And John had a couple of forums for motorcycle stuff, and when we started the Wanderlodge Owners Group, we basically took it over from Ernie. And John had been heavily involved, and was involved heavily daily and nightly, because John he slept a lot during the day, so he was up at night. And so he kept an eye on it at night. I was in there on the daytime, and John did most of all the behind the scenes stuff that has to happen to make a forum work, and which I don't know anything about. I did know a little bit about wander lodges, and I knew people, and I could pass all that information along. And so we set this forum up in Wanderlodge Owners Group, as you guys know, and John was instrumental in running that. And John counseled me some too. I wasn't I wasn't an alcoholic, but I sure was rowdy and mouthy. And John, he might have moderated me a time or two on my own forum, but it was all for the good of the forum and for the brand. And we've tried to keep the Wanderlodge brand alive with the forums, and we try to have parts available and that kind of stuff, and locate stuff, and just carry the name on. So that's the story of John Finn. He died several years ago, and we all miss him to this day, but rest in peace, John Finn. Thank you, guys.